guys, welcome to this week's video. Happy Pride Month again, and welcome to the second in a series of celebrating Pride. So last week we talked about the importance of honoring our past, both as a community and individually. And this week I'd like to talk about being present with ourselves and how we relate to the community now. So I have a lot of conversations with folks about how they feel disconnected from the larger gay or queer community. And so I wanted to kind of take that apart a little bit today and start to look at how we can start to change that for ourselves. So I think one of the fundamental issues that happens is that we conflate the bar scene with our idea of what gay and queer culture is. And I think that this does us a disservice on a few different levels. I think one, the bar scene is not representative of our community at large. There are a lot of folks who don't feel comfortable in that scene or that community because of their body types, because of their age, because of their interests, because of their race and cultural background. I mean, we have to recognize that gay spaces have historically been centered around white, cisgender gay men. And so it's problematic then to look at the bar scene as representative of our whole community. I think that the other thing that it does is it stereotypes our community. It paints the community with a really broad brush that doesn't do justice to the complexity, the richness, and the diversity of our community. So stereotyping has historically been used by those in power to marginalize and dehumanize disempowered and disenfranchised folks. So I think when we do that as a community within our own community, we've taken in those messages that we've heard from society, maybe from families of origin, and we're doing the work of promoting hate and marginalizing our own community. So this isn't, to me, about making bar culture bad or one thing and non-bar culture another thing, but it's about expanding our awareness of ourselves and expanding our sense of community. Going out to bars in places like Halsted Street here in Chicago have played a really important role in our community. And that also doesn't mean that it has to continue to define our community. Halsted Street doesn't define gay community any more than Bourbon Street defines straight community. So we can start to expand our sense of who we see ourselves to be and who we see our community to be. And that happens by developing lives ourselves that are meaningful and purposeful. And when we do that, we attract folks who are also creating those kinds of lives, and we create community around that. I just finished rereading the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And in the book, there's a really great quote. He says, "The salvation of man is through love and in love." And I think that that fits really nicely with what we're talking about today. I think as we learn to love ourselves, that then expands into how we relate to our community presently. And if we can do that in love and not in separating and not in seeing certain segments of the community as other, then that helps us build connection. It helps us strengthen our community through our own diversity. One of the ways that I've done that in the last year is by getting more involved in meditation and in spiritual community. And in that, I've connected with people who are interested in the same kinds of things that I am. So we started to build that community, and in those spaces, I've been aware of seeking out and building relationships with gay and queer men. So that's just the way that I've done it. I'm curious to hear what works for you guys. What's been helpful as you have changed interests, as you have grown? How have you developed this sense of love for yourself, and how has that expanded into how you see the community? I'm really glad you joined me today. Happy Pride Month again. If you're liking these videos, give them a thumbs up, like them, and subscribe. And I'll see you next week. Take good care.